I think that this could be really beneficial to you if you are just getting into photographing at the rescues, photographing cats at the rescues, that kind of thing. And it's taken me these 6 years to find a process that really works for me, my studio, and this particular rescue now called Animal Friends Alliance. Oh yeah, I'm wearing their shirt today. And I want to pass it on to you. By the way, Monique Renee here, a photographer from Silver Paw Studio. And I want to be sure that you can tell all of your tales with tales with your camera. This might be a little bit longer video than I normally put on here, but I didn't want to break it into 2 pieces because there's so much good stuff in here. What we're going to do is we're just going to walk through my whole process at the cat rescue. Don't worry, I have filmed a whole walkthrough of my process at the dog side of the rescue as well, and that'll be a next video. But you're going to take a look at a day that I spent at the cat side back in the fall. And we're going to look at not only who I work with, which you know, Frank, but how we assess which kitties need photos as far as the list and who we photographed last week, things like that. Behaviorally, which ones can come out. And then we're actually I'm going to show you some of me photographing the kitties at the rescue with Frank at the table. And then I'm going to show you how I do a speed edit on all of these and do a turnaround same day for all of these kitty pictures. So I want to walk you through every step of that so you have a nice clear picture of what this could be like for you. So get your coffee, tea, drink of choice ready to walk with me through the Animal Friends Alliance Cat Shelter Photo Day, okay? About 6.5 years ago, I started volunteering my photography services for the local animal shelter, at that time called Animal House, and that was all photographing dogs. About 6 months into that, I stumbled across the cat shelter and I went in and said, hey, would you ever need a photographer to photograph your adoptable cats? And they said, oh, that would be so great. I wish we could have the person that's volunteering at the dog rescue. I said, well, that's me. And they're like, great. And so I started volunteering at the cat rescue every week as well. All right. I just arrived at the cat shelter and Frank is already here. I can see his car here. And the thing is I never know what to expect. I have no idea how many cats are here, what cats are here, anything like that. So first thing I do is I meet with Frank and just do an assessment. Let's go. Now, since then, those 2 organizations have merged, but their campuses are still separate. And what I have found over the years is I've tried different workflows to work with the dogs and with the cats. Oh, there's Frank. Yep, got here from you. Okay. Hey, Frank.
Hello.
So every week, Frank and I get our list of who we photographed in weeks past so we can compare and remember who doesn't need photos this week. And then we head into the main adoption room here and kind of assess who all's here. So here we go. Ready, Frank?
Yep.
Let's go. And I can tell you, I was a little like frazzled the first few times I went in to photograph at the cat shelter because I didn't have a lot of experience photographing cats, and the space was different. My volunteer helper was different. How we kept track of which cats were photographed was all different. And oh my gosh, I remember being in some Facebook groups and asking, please, can you help me with some ideas? And I had already built, I think shortly after that, I built my table. You've probably seen the video of my tabletop studio that I built, and I've used that for 6 years straight. So here they have a color code to their cards. So if their cage card is green, friendly, outgoing, shy, overstim. So generally we are able to photograph any of the kitties with the green card. Sometimes the blue, just depends. And we usually kind of leave yellow cards to themselves because they're overstimmed. So when we look around at the cages, you can see a lot of times the kittens are green. Like Bruiser here. Hi, honey. But some kittens do have a blue tag. So what Frank and I do is we just walk around and take our list. Where's the, oh, here it is. We have our list that we keep in here, and we kind of know who we did in weeks past. And then we look through each cage and see which ones we could photograph and which ones we already have. And then we also note who can maybe come out in the studio table with me and who would be better in the kennel with Frank. If you saw this video, you know the setup that Frank uses in the kennels with the kitties. So go ahead and go over and watch that if that's your style. But I'll show you the table setup I use too. So let's take a look. This is Frank's pen. So I'm not stealing it, I'm just borrowing it. Okay. So looking at this list of, well, we only have the 2 cats Frank did last week. So we probably have a lot that we can do today.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. So Bruiser, I think we can get a picture. Now, honestly, sometimes the kittens get adopted so fast that if there's a lot of adults, we'll skip the kittens. But I think we're going to be good on time this week. What I start with is just writing a list of overall all the kitties. If there's one that sticks out immediately, like let's have Frank just keep that one in the kennel, then we'll put a F for Frank next to them. Oh my goodness! Look at you! Aren't you cute? But Snuffleupagus is also a blue card, so it's a little shy. Oh, hi.
Pretty wild kitty.
You're wild?
Yeah.
All right, so one of the things that Frank and I are very good about is we look through who can get photos, but we also rule out any kitties who can't be photographed. So Frank's really, really good with cats. I'm very lucky to have Frank. I usually can look at them, and if they have their ears back, if they're really all the way in the back of everything, if they have a yellow card, then we just don't even put them on the list. We wait for them to get acclimated and a little more comfortable. So that's what we're doing when we're looking through all these kittens too. Not only who needs photos, but who will be okay with photos. So down here is Bayou, who has a green card. And there he is. Hi, Bayou. But he had quite a distinct haircut last week, or a couple weeks ago, so we didn't photograph him then. But he's growing out nicely. But he's a really big kitty, and sometimes it's a little sore for them to be picked up. So we'll see how Bayou does. I'm going to put him on the list, and he may end up just being in kennel with Frank. Hi, Bayou. As we're assessing each of these kitties, we're looking at their body language, if their ears are back or forward, how big their eyes are, if they're hiding under a blanket or under their little bed, and if they're more friendly, are they coming to the front of the cage? We're thinking of all of these aspects. Many animal rescues will actually have specialty training to help you assess all the animals too. So I highly suggest looking into that for sure. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. 9 potentials. So now I'm going to go grab my table, since there's some kitties that we think will come out on the table, and set that up. Okay, now we're going to set up the table. Beyond that, I've also made friends with many people at the shelters, and it's just heartening to know you're working towards all the same goal. So often people exclaim, "How are you not tempted to adopt every single animal you photograph?" And my response is always the same. That's not my job. I am not aiming to start a rescue myself. My job is to connect these adoptable animals with the perfect home for them. When someone's scrolling through the adoption site, I want them to see one of these photos and have an instant connection and say, "Oh, that's the one for me." That's what keeps me going, all of the happy tales. Okay, what I've got is my little flashpoint speed light, and I'm going to put it up here Actually, I'm gonna bounce it off the ceiling on top of these kennels. Oops, that's a little too much bouncy bounce. So that's gonna bounce off the ceiling up there, down onto this table. So it'll bounce from up there down onto the table. And then I've got my Sony a7R III with the 70 to 200 millimeter lens, and then the controller for the flash. Now, you don't need this long a lens. This is a smaller room. Once I get that 24 to 70, I'll be using that most likely here all the time. So that's what I've got. That's all I do. In this room, that window I have used when I didn't bring a flash. So you could use that window and just crank your ISO and maybe put a reflector up. But we've got the flash up there and the little set down here. And then from here, what we do is I will stand over here and then we'll go down the list. And usually what'll happen is Frank will bring the kitties out and I'll just be ready to go, because sometimes you only get that 1 or 2 pictures. And so Frank is right here with the kitties, either with a treat or just the magic wand. Today we're doing a special project with some scarves again. And we'll just go down our list, which we keep right here, and check off as we go and see how far we can get it in an hour. What do you think? Do you want to start with kittens?
Sure.
That's always our first question. Start with kittens?
Yep.
We had coffee. It's good. Okay, I had coffee. All right. Oh, I also forgot. I always test my settings, usually just with that spoon right there. So I'll also make sure my settings are good while he's getting that first kitty out. I've got the camera set to ISO 400, 1/125th of a second, shutter speed f4, and the flash is on 32nd of the power, and I already know that's going to be too low. So we're just going to make that a little stronger, because we're bouncing off the ceiling. It's going to need to be stronger than we would think. And then I'm just going to take a test shot. That's still a little bit bright, so we're going to bring the power down. All right, so I think we're about there. I will change those settings if it's an all dark cat, all light cat, things like that. But I think for the most part, we're ready to go. And I've got my bag over here, and Frank is getting the first kitty, I think. He took a little coaxing. Let's see. Let's see. There you go, sweetheart. Okay.
One of my most popular tutorials here on YouTube is Portable Pet Photography Studio, building this little table set. So definitely go check that out if you're interested in how to make one of these yourself. It has come in so handy. I use it all the time for the kitties. I've also used it for puppies. I've used it for product photography, all kinds of things. I even actually took it on a plane once to a conference.
Oh, that's cute. Good kitty. Look how he's upside down. Oh, he's not sure. Okay, those are good. Should we take that off for you now, sweetheart? Yeah. Why are you wearing a toy? There you go. Meow. Okay, great. We've got kitten in a scarf, which they needed one of those for a project they're working on. Check. And on my list, that's Bruiser, so I'm going to put a 1 next to him. So I'll remember when I'm editing all the photos. All right, next is maybe Snuffleupagus, but Snuff is a blue card, so we shall see.
I I absolutely love volunteering my time at the animal rescues. I get time with all different kinds of kitties, and I get to learn all their different personalities and body language. There's so much to learn. And one of the side benefits of volunteering is also all the awesome people I get to meet, like my good friend Frank here. We used to volunteer on separate days, and then it just so happened that we could volunteer together, and it's worked out ever since. Frank is also a professional photographer, and many people ask, why would you team up with a competitor? And we just don't see it that way. We have formed a wonderful friendship.
Okay, so Midnight's really young, really active, but he did good. He did really good, so yay. Even though it's November, there's still so many kittens. Look at that, Casey. Whoa, Casey likes it, okay. That was a really active kitty that looked down the whole time. So far my flash up there is working really good. I've got it on 1/8 of a power. We're still at ISO 400. I've popped it up to 1/200th of a second, f3.5. Next.
One of the fun things about volunteering at the shelter is I get to try new ideas. For this session, we're working on scarves. And so what the rescue really wanted was something that showed winter warmth. And we did this at the dog rescue too. So they could put the pictures together for a card and for some things for the end of the year. And I don't always get to do some of these fun, creative ideas with my normal client sessions. Now, once the kitties are out and on the little table set, I am ready to go immediately because we only have usually a few minutes. The kitties really love to go explore, or maybe they suddenly decide they don't want to model and we have to put them back in their bed. And so I suggest that you be right in position, ready to go as soon as your helper or assistant has put them in the table area. So it was really great to be able to do that for the shelter animals. And also, sometimes it helps give that little extra bit to the adoptable animals that have either maybe been there for a while, or they're older, or they have a medical issue, and it gives them a little bit more of a chance to be seen on a list of adoptable animals.
Well, you did okay after all. So he is number 5 on my list. And what I do, so remember which kitties I have photographed, is I take a picture with my phone. And let's see here. So all I'm going to do is, where'd he go? Photograph the list. That's it. Now, when Frank photographs each kitty, he just takes a picture of their cage card. And so every cat has the cage card first, and then pictures of the kitty, which is also an excellent way to go. Here's me officially giving Frank back his pen.
Another thing I'm always thinking about during these photos is getting about 3 different looks. I'd like to get a picture of them maybe hitting a toy, swatting at a toy, or maybe they're sitting or laying. Maybe I have a full body and I have a close-up. So this is all going on in my head during the few minutes they allow me to photograph them.
Well, thanks again, Frank.
Oh, you're welcome, Molly. Lots of fun.
Yes, you're going to have to get your own, Frank, for volunteering at your cat shelter, but it's always awesome to have a helper who's really, really good with the kitties, which all the kitties love Frank. Yes, so thank you so much for being part of this. And if you want to see, again, how Frank sets up the lighting, look at this video I'm going to post here on the page as well. All right, see you next time.
You betcha.
All right, that was a really successful morning. I got 5 kitties photographed today, and at least 2 with the little scarf on, maybe 3, I can't remember now. And from here, I go home and immediately put them on my computer and edit them and email them through via Dropbox. So I try to get that all done in one day, partly so they can get these pictures up right away, and then it's just done. I don't have to think about it the rest of the week. And I need to say that I only spend 1 hour here. So usually on Mondays I go to the cat side and then I go across town to the dogs, and I spend an hour at each. And so however many I can get done in the 1 hour, and then I have a pretty efficient system for editing that I'll show you as well. Hi, babe. Hi, honey. Hi. Did you miss me, babe? Yeah. Oh my goodness.
In 2020, between my surgery and everything shutting down for a short time for the pandemic, I wasn't able to go to the shelters for 6 months. And I missed it so much. I missed the kitties. I missed the photography. I missed Frank and all of the volunteers. And
Oh. I don't think you've ever been this close to a horse. Come on, let's go, let's go. Hi, horsey.
I have to say, it was just a really emotional day in the summer when I was finally able to go back and photograph adoptable dogs and cats. Yes, it might have been only 1 hour out of my week, but it was so wonderful and satisfying to be able to go out and do this thing that I love and help these animals and see people. Yeah.
I have a longer video about my editing process here that I'll link, but I want to show you really quick how fast it is for me to edit all of these photos. So as you can see, I have already imported them into a folder called Animal Friends Alliance 2020, and then we can scroll down and I've named it today's date, 11/16/2020. And here we go. Here's all the photos you can see in here. So from here, I just look at each cat. So we're going to select all those. This is in Lightroom, press N. And what I want to see is just which ones will work out, and I'll star them really quickly. There's kind of a lot to see on this one screen. I hope they're in focus. All right, what I want to see, I like this one. I like this one. And of course I like this one. I usually like at least 3. All right, go back out to grid. There's this little black kitten. We'll just do it, put a few on the screen. Let's see, that one's in focus. I think I can zoom in on just his head. Let's see the rest of his little pictures here. Kind of look the same. And this one, okay. And then we have this stripy kitten. Is that all the pictures I have of this kitten? Well, we've got this one. I think this is a whole different cat. Okay. All right, well, I don't know what happened to the rest of that kitten's pictures. And then we have this kitty with a scarf. Any of these turn out? This one, maybe. Well, we're going to look a little farther. Let's see. Here's a full body, but he looks like a little hunchy. This one, I like the look on his face. We'll give that a 1 star. We press number 1 to give it 1 star. And then let's see. This one's awesome. Give that a 1. I like how he's looking up here. Okay. We'll move on to this other kitty. He's looking straight at us there. Okay, let's do a few more like this. I kind of like him looking off to the side. He looks pretty good in that scarf. Huh. And then he got kind of done with it. So we're going to press G to go back out to the grid. We're going to press 1 star. We have 3 of this one, 3 of this one, 1 of that one for some reason, 3 of this one, and only 2 of this one. So let's go back down to the end of the line because I want to have 3 of each one. Oh, I liked him looking the other way too. So I like that. This kitten, I think, got spooked, right? So we only have 1 of that. But here, let's do some playing ones because it's a kitten. All right, so sort this out by stars again. And we'll go to the first one. Let's see. They now require this to be in square format. But these ones are going to be used specially. So I'm going to do square and 8 by 10. So we'll do this. And 8 by 10, and then I'll crop them square from there. And this looks good overall. Let's just see what auto does. I don't care for that. But I think it's a little too orange. There we go. That's more blue, and it's got the whites too far. There we go. All right, and I always make sure I have that my lens correction on. And we're gonna do all of these kitties. Select all those, say sync. I want white balance, basic tone, all of this, lens correction, aspect ratio, synchronize. And then I'm going to go back out to grid and make sure these, I pressed R, R for crop. So these we're going to just make that 8 by 10, and then I'll go back through again and make them square format that they need on the adoption site now. Let's see what we think of a 3/4 view. Okay, that's not bad. I think we still have some weirdness up here. Oh, that's Frank's shadow. And I could go in and do a little bit more with this in Photoshop, but I'm not going to. All right, press R on this one. Get this to our 8 by 10. That looks good. And so that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep going. If I don't press enter, it stays open. So I just always forget that. Let's make this more of a headshot. These are 42 megapixel pictures, so we're good. I just want to get rid of this is spot removal, a second tool up there. Get rid of, I'm going to scroll that down. That part of the magic wand is over there. Yeah. That's on clone. I like clone. It doesn't make weirdness. There we go. Okay, and then this one last one. Okay. They're for funsies. Kittens get adopted pretty quickly at this rescue, but you know, it's fun to have some of these images for other purposes. I can see all kinds of marketing things done with these. Oh, see? I keep pressing R or enter. Okay. Funsies. Look at the look on his face. Oh, your face is so cute. Good looking kitty cat. Look at you. Let's give him some room to look into right there. I feel like this is a smidge overexposed. So we're just gonna bring that down a little. There we go. So this is it. This is my process here. It's pretty fast. All right. And so then what I'll do is I'll look at their names. So that picture that I took in here with all of their names, here we go. So kitty number 1, if we're in library view, kitty number 1 is, I'll put it under title, Bruiser. And then this kitty number 2 was title. Midnight Rambler. This kitten number 3 was Casey. Kitten 4 was Madre. And then lastly, we have Bayou. Okay, now these all have titles and I can select all of them again, right click, export, and I'm going to put them in my Animal Friends Alliance preset, which makes it go into a subfolder of the original. And I just, oops, it's 16 today. I just changed the date there. Custom settings are the title, so Bruiser, Animal Friends Alliance, and then my studio name and the number. And then these only need to be, well, 1200 pixels on the long side. And I put my little blue paw print in the lower left and say export. Okay, and then you can see up here where that's exporting. And then from there, all I do is put them in a Dropbox folder and send a link to that folder to everyone that needs it at Animal Friends Alliance. And that's it. That took about 10 minutes and we ended up with 15 photos. It only took about 10 minutes to edit all of them. Okay, if you are still with me, congratulations. You've got your notes, you've finished your coffee. I hope this was really, really valuable to you. This is exactly what I do every single week. It took me a few years to get to this point, but is working so well. I have Frank that pairs up with me every week, and we do the same process every time. Look through the kitties, assess who's there, do the photos, process them, and send them off to the shelter. And I can do that all within just a few hours so I can work it around my normal business. I just take a couple of hours once a week to photograph as many kitties as I can to get them adopted. If that was super fun, be sure to be watching for another video I have on all the dog photography. It's quite different. So you'll want to make sure you tune in for that, of course. Hit the subscribe button and the bell and you'll get notified. And once that video is live, I'll put a card for it here in this video as well. And you want to go check that out right away. So you have a good idea of what it's like for my entire process at the dog shelter. All right, well, thanks for joining me on this video and this little walkthrough of a day at the cat shelter. And as always, I wish you many woofs, purrs, and TREATS's.